Hi, I'm Jillian and welcome to the show. I offer spiritual growth for the rebel soul, guiding you through the labyrinth of your own ascension path. This show is for the rebel souls that challenge the status quo, those that crave authenticity in every single aspect of their lives, that desire to embrace their uniqueness, follow their passions, connect to their soul and live according to who they truly are, even if that means having the courage to go against the grain or the norms of society. If that's you, my spiritual soul seeker, rebel warrior, then this is the place for you. On this podcast, we speak about everything from spirituality, sexuality, conscious relationships, business, and literally everything in between. So if that's your jam, then stay tuned. And go on, be a rebel and subscribe. You know you want to. Hello, you beautiful souls. So today I want to talk about something that hit me hard recently, and it revealed just how powerful our past life trauma can be in shaping our fears, our emotions, and even our physical reactions in this lifetime. It's called the witch wound. So the witch wound is a collective trauma carried by those who in past lives may have been persecuted, silenced, or even killed for our spiritual gifts, or wisdom, or just the connection to the unseen. And it showed up for me in a way that I didn't really expect. So if you've ever had an unexplained fear, like a sudden emotional reaction, or just this like deep sense of dread that doesn't seem to match your current reality at all, then this episode is for you. So, a few weeks ago, I found myself in an intense freeze state. Like, I couldn't move forward, I felt completely drained, and like worst of all, I was waking up just having this overwhelming sense of fear, dread, and doom. Like when I connected to myself and tuned into my body, those were the words that came up. And I felt them on the bottom of my back and in my lower stomach. And for me, that's all around safety, that's all around security, that's all around having our physical needs met. And for a couple of days, I was waking up in the middle of the night, like my heart was racing. Like I just had this feeling like something terrible was about to happen, but like there was literally no logical reason for it. So at first, like I really just brushed this off, like maybe I was just tired, maybe it was stress, I just did a huge stint of work and, kicked some goals. But deep down, I just knew that something like bigger was happening. And then I realized this all started because I had a house inspection coming up. Now, logically, there was just nothing unusual about this, right? I've had house inspections before, but for some reason, this one sent my whole nervous system into a full-blown trauma response. And what was really strange, like I suddenly felt this huge fear around my cats. I had this irrational, visceral need to hide them. And then that's when the vision started. So as the days went on, I got visions in my sleep, in my dreams, and just in my waking life. And I'd see myself in another time, another life, one where I had to hide my animals, where being discovered with them meant danger, and it even meant death. Like I didn't fully understand what was happening, but the emotions were just so overwhelming. And then something wild happened. That same week, a friend just casually mentioned a book to me. It was one about witches and their familiars and the Salem witch trials. And the moment she mentioned that, I went and ordered it on Amazon. I was like, this has codes for me. There's something in this. I need to read it. So I bought it. The next day it was delivered. Thank you, Amazon. And I literally devoured it in 2 nights. And as I read, the memories just started pouring in. Now, I've experienced many different past lives, obviously doing the work that I do. I've probably explored hundreds of them by now. And witch lifetimes were not unfamiliar to me. So as I was reading this book, I was just sobbing. I just was sobbing. Everything was resonating with me, especially when I was reading about the witches' familiars, their beloved animal companions, and how they were hunted, tortured, and just killed for being associated with their witches. And honestly, at points, it was unbearable. It felt so real. It felt so personal. I was a mess. at reading the book. And, I was just like, why is this hitting me so hard? But then I realized I wasn't just reading about history, I was literally like remembering it. Everything in my body remembered these experiences of when I had that happen to me. And I know I've experienced lifetimes before where I had my familiars, and my animals that I have right now have also been in my past lifetimes. So, the connections were starting to fire away and connect, right? And then just over the next few days, it was like the universe was screaming at me to pay attention, which is what it does when it wants to get your attention. I kept seeing the word witch everywhere, on book covers, on random signs. Even I'd recently just bought a new toner, like a witch hazel toner, which I've been using every day, but hadn't really noticed before until all I could see was the word witch, like popping out at me like, hello, this is what you need to see. And it was like the universe was just piecing together the puzzle for me, just confirming what I was feeling just so deep in my soul. Like, it wasn't random, it wasn't my imagination. This was some past life trauma that was resurfacing, And for those of us who feel so deeply connected to spirituality, to healing, to our intuitive gifts, the witch wound is something that you're probably going to be carrying without even realizing it. And how that can manifest in your life is a fear of being seen, fear of being heard, the fear of speaking your truth, the fear of stepping into your power, into the limelight. Because in past lifetimes, that literally got us killed. And this is the thing, right? Past life trauma lingers in our unconscious. And it shows up because there's aspects of these lifetimes that need to be healed. It can start to show up in our lives through, a really deep fear of judgment or persecution, or feeling unsafe in our spiritual practice. Hesitation to share our gifts with the world. Physical reactions like anxiety, freeze responses like I got, or even panic when we're put in situations that trigger those past wounds. And here's the thing, it doesn't just go away until we acknowledge it. And I have done a lot of work on my witch wound. I've done a lot of work with my past lives, as you well know. And it's like, the more work that you do, the more awareness that you have, the more that these layers are just going to come up. And we are so multidimensional. We've lived so many lifetimes. And if you've chosen to awaken in this lifetime, all of the wounds from your past, from your ancestors, from your past lifetimes will come to the surface to be healed. And, once I realized everything that was happening, I just obviously had to do something about it. Because, the truth is, awareness is only the first step, right? Healing comes when we shift the energy. Because the trauma, the emotions, the fears, the worry, the beliefs that come up is all energetic, and it was being stored in my body. It was being stored in my unconscious. So here's what I did. Firstly, I just let myself feel it. Instead of pushing it down, instead of ignoring it, I just allowed myself to grieve. I just let myself cry, and I really cried. Just this immense tears for all the lives that were lost. The fear that I carried, like the injustice of it all. And reading that book really highlighted so much of the atrocities that happened to women all around the world. And then I went into a meditation and I spoke to my past self. I connected to that version of me who had lived through that lifetime. And I explored and saw what I needed to see, and I healed the wounds that were coming up to be healed. And I told her, we're safe now. We're free, and it's okay to let this go. She'd been holding on so long with this fear, which she had died with. And the trauma of seeing her beloved familiars, her animals, be tortured and killed. It was like this, painstaking grief that I then was holding on to, and it was coming up in my world, and it was coming up in these triggers and these visions and, the signs from the universe, because it's like, it's okay, it's time to let this go now. Because the future version of me can't hold this. It can't hold and stay in this place of fear or worry or stress. And this is how I look at every trigger. It's like, thank you, because this is an invitation for me to become more my authentic self and just let go of anything that is holding me down from truly stepping in further into my purpose, from sharing my gifts, from going bigger, expanding more, helping more people to be seen on a bigger stage. All of this was what I'm here to do. And this trigger came up because I couldn't do those things. I couldn't go to that next phase of my purpose and my business when I was still holding on to this wound. I was still holding on to this fear. And then I just rewrote that story. Like I reminded myself that we're no longer living in the 1600s, that time where we need to hide, and that the world is shifting, that it is safe to be seen. It's safe to be seen for who I authentically am, for what I'm here to share, for my words to be heard, to be seen, to share my spiritual gifts. It's so safe for me to be me. And then I found gratitude. I just felt so much gratitude for my gifts, for my journey, and for the fact that I get to be a healer and a teacher in this lifetime without fear of persecution. And then I asked my guides, my angels, and my ancestors to help support me, to continue to show me the lessons that I need to learn, to continue to bring up any wounds or any trauma that I need to release to fully step into who I'm meant to be. And then slowly the fear faded. That freeze state lifted and the dread dissolved. And the funny thing is, like, my real estate agent, I love her because she's been my real estate agent for quite a few years. When she came in, like, I picked up something about her ancestral line and a trigger that she was just going through with her family. And I pinpointed exactly what that was. And she's like, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm going through. And that was just like a 360 moment of like, I'm so fucking safe. I am safe. And this is a big, big thing. If you are opening up to your spiritual gifts, if you have a spiritual business, this witch wound is probably going to come up in some area of your life. So if you've been listening to this and then something inside you is just lining up, like, I want you to ask yourself, where in your life do you have like an unexplained fear or an emotional response that just doesn't make sense? Maybe it's speaking in front of people. Maybe it's stepping into your spiritual gift or sharing them with other people. Maybe it's standing up for yourself or setting boundaries. Maybe it's putting yourself out there in love. Maybe it's going for like a promotion or wanting to take that leap of faith and leave your job for something more fulfilling or start your own business. Like, what if that fear actually isn't yours? What if it's just a memory? And what if it's a past life and a past life wound that's just asking to be healed? So if you felt this, if you've experienced this, then just know that you are not alone. Honestly, you're not alone. Your soul remembers, but you are safe. And you are here to break the cycle. You're here to reclaim that power. You're here to heal your generational lineage. You're here to step into your gifts without fear, things that your ancestors and the past versions of you could never do. You are here to rewrite that story and heal anything that is holding you back from truly stepping into your purpose. And that just starts with awareness. So, the next time that an unexpected trigger comes up, or you feel like deja vu, or you have like a vision or a memory, or you have like a wild dream that you feel could be a past life, just instead of pushing it down, instead of like dismissing it or ignoring it, just pause and ask yourself, like, could this actually be something deeper? Could this be something from before? And just ask yourself, like, and this is good to journal as well, where in my life do I feel like I have to hide? Like, what parts of myself or what parts of my gifts do I keep hidden? And why do I feel like I need to do that? Perhaps you work in corporate and you do tarot on the side and nobody in your job knows that. Perhaps you started going to meditation or learn energy healing and you haven't told your partner. Like, where in your life do you feel like you still have to hide who you are? And ask yourself, like, in what areas of my life do I hide or shrink? Where do I shrink back to avoid being judged or being seen? Maybe that isn't work. Maybe that's you want to take a leadership role, but you just are too afraid to public speak. Maybe you've been asked to go on camera, or maybe you started your own business and you can't show up on social media. Like, what would it feel like to show up in whatever space that is with confidence? To know that you're safe. And you just ask yourself, like, why is it that I feel like I need to hide? Why do I feel I need to hide this about me, or hide who I am, or hide this part of me, or hide my spiritual or healing abilities, my beliefs, whatever it is? Like, what does that bring up in me? Like, when you tune into it, like, what fears, what beliefs, what emotions come up for you when you think about being seen, or you think about sharing your gifts? Do you have a fear of rejection? Do you think people are going to project or judge you? Do you feel like you're unsafe in some way, that you might be cause pain or hurt or, persecution? Like, I know that sounds illogical, but that could still be a belief that you are holding on to. And that's holding you back from fully being seen. That's holding you back or keeping you small or keeping you hiding in some area of your life. Is it a safety thing like me? Because, the moment that you recognize that, the moment that you can start to take your power back, and that's honestly where the true healing begins. So I just want to thank you for listening, and I want to thank you for doing this work. The witch wound is real, but so is our ability to heal, and so is our ability to rise from it. So if this episode resonated with you, then I just want to invite you into something deeper. My private spiritual coaching, The Path. So this is where, honestly, such amazing true transformation happens fast. When we work together in such a close proximity for 3 or 6 months, we just go beyond recognizing past life wounds. We clear them. We rewire any fear, we release any trauma, and we shift the patterns that have just been holding you back from lifetimes. So if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been afraid to, either fully step into your spiritual gift, or use your voice in your relationships, or have the confidence to go for another job that fulfills you, or go for that promotion, or take a leadership role, or if you just feel like something unseen is blocking you from the life that you're meant to live, this is where we change that. In my private coaching, we're going to uncover and heal any past life trauma that's still affecting you today, that might be showing up in any aspect of your life: money, business, relationships, your spiritual gifts. We're going to break through any unconscious fears so that you feel safe. You feel safe being seen. You feel safe using your voice. You feel safe using your spiritual gifts and stepping into your purpose. We're going to develop your intuitive abilities, your connection with spirit, so you can trust your inner knowing just without doubt. Like, you have a 24/7 dial-in to the answers that you need to move forward in your life with confidence, to know that you're fully supported. And you're just going to be able to reclaim your own personal power, and just embody that soul-led life you're here to lead. Because no one else is here to walk the path that you are here to walk. You're meant to create that by yourself. And you can't do that. You can't fully step into your purpose, your prosperity, and lead your highest potential and what your soul really wants for this lifetime when you have all these blocks holding you back, from when you're disconnected to your soul, your higher self, your guides. or you're not being guided by that compass. You know, like this just isn't about healing the past. It's about reclaiming your authenticity. It's reclaiming your magic, like who you really are, and just fully embodying your soul's purpose. So if you feel called, then I would love to support you on this journey. Like, you do not have to do this alone. And when you're working in such close proximity and we're getting to the origin of anything that's holding you back so you can step into your most aligned timeline, quantum leaps happen fast. So just click the link in the show notes to apply for my private coaching. You can set up a connection call and we can chat to see if this is the right thing for you. And if you just want to start exploring your past lives or exploring the triggers that are coming up for you, you can book a one-on-one psychic healing session. You can book a past life regression. And you can start to make real, tangible shifts and clear any of the energy that's holding you back to get the wisdom and the insight that you need to move forward in whatever path that your soul wants to take. So until next time, trust your intuition, honor your past, and step boldly into your power. Sending you so much love. Until next time.